Welcome to another episode of last week's Comics Today. I've got a decent amount here. I have almost nothing in my stack for next week, so I don't know. Probably going to grab some random stuff off the rack. But we're going to start this week with Battle Chasers issue 11. As near as I can tell, I went back to the Kickstarter, and it only mentions up through issue 12. And through 12 is all that's been solicited. It doesn't seem like enough time to wrap up really much of anything that's been happening for 2 decades, but I guess we'll see. So this issue we get a good fight, which is pretty interesting, and it's one of those things that I'm like, I don't know, how is this going to get resolved? Right, so Garrison does some stuff, and Red Monica, and that's about it. I don't think anyone else is really in this. We do get, I don't know, a bit of resolution as far as like who set a fire 2 decades ago. It's nice that Battle Chasers is back. I don't feel like 3 issues is enough. I don't know. Fingers crossed something happens. This is, I don't know. I'll wait till issue 12 is out and then make some kind of decision. Void Rivals, issue 2. I was talking to the comic shop manager, and I said that I had bought issue 1 based on Kirkman's name. Really both creators, because this guy's Dave Felici is also good. But primarily Kirkman is the reason I got it. I mean, at the time, nobody knew anything, that there was a very minimal Transformers connection, and I wasn't overly impressed with issue 1. I grabbed issue 2 based on his recommendation. So Berg had this as one of his picks of the week, and it does a bit more than the first issue as far as establishing characters. The characters do some things. It feels like less pages but more happens, which is weird. I do think this panel on the left here should have gotten the full page spread, because that looks friggin' amazing. It deserves more space to be seen. So the art's great, and the story is very slowly plodding along. There is an appearance by a character that, if you remember a show from 40 years ago, then you are in luck. You win the prize this week, but I'm still unsure whether or not I'm getting issue 3. Who knows? I guess maybe we'll see whether or not it's a small or large week, and I'll decide based on that. White Knight Generation Joker. I'm really enjoying this team up between Harley and Neo Joker, which she says she doesn't want to be called. She might actually be called Riot going forward. There's a scene in here that maybe I don't know, but the art's great. The story is also well done. It sort of sets up some Batman Beyond style Joker's gang stuff, and the kids are a little bit stupid, as kids are, but all of this stuff between them is spectacular. And this, so the most interesting stuff, I guess I'll wait for whatever White Knight follows, probably a year from now. But I really want to see more of Stuart and Diana, and I guess their equivalent of West as well. So I just flipped to a last page, you saw a thing, and I'm curious about that, because we haven't seen him, I don't think, since the first series. There was a one-shot. And I'd like to know more. But this is great. I enjoy all of the White Knight stuff. This is no exception. Dead Romans issue 5. There's only 1 issue left, and things are... This is very much the setup before the conclusion. So things absolutely happen. There's been a lot of people just walking around in the woods. It makes sense for the time period, but not too much has happened. And people get to where they need to be instead of just wandering or hiding, and everything is queued up. So So some fights, death. This is going to make an excellent collection once the whole thing is out. There's also previews here for next issue. More fights. But yeah, this series is fantastic. I love the historical... I don't know, I love history stories in general, but this is really well done. The art's fantastic. I think I've already used the word fantastic, but just look at it. It's very expressive. Does the job very well, and it's great. It's just very solidly excellent. World's Finest 17. I finally added this to my pull list. So this is the first one that I got in the pull box that I didn't grab off the rack. Now, there's New Mazo, which is still not the best of names, but this entire issue is mostly a fight with everyone that shows up versus New Mazo. They are there. Superman says, stay away. This happens. I can't name all of these people. I can name most, but this is pretty awesome once this happened. And so the fight continues. There's a fight between them, which I didn't think was going to end the way it does, but it's pretty awesome. So this continues to be just an excellent read. I'm loving Wade's writing. I'm obviously loving Moore's art. I praise him every opportunity that I get, but this is a really, really good read. The whole series, not just this issue, but this issue is in particular pretty great. Don't Spit in the Wind issue 4. This is the last issue, and people that are fans of happy endings are not going to be pleased with this. So there's been quite a bit that's happened since the first issue. Somebody's gone missing. There's a space station with most of humanity that is falling out of the sky. There's a giant mutated fish. There's an uprising of like garbage people. There's all sorts of things happening, and it does not end well. This is not a happy ending for anyone. So I enjoyed it, but it's going to rub people the wrong way. Now, I will say that most people that it would rub the wrong way probably aren't buying it in the first place, and that if you, like me, go out of your way to find the weird stuff in comics, then you're probably fine. But just full disclosure, not a happy ending. Speaking of unhappy endings, we've got Guardians of the Galaxy issue 4, and this is a very rocket-focused issue. It was incredibly well written. It's got a lot of this sort of voiceover narration style, and it's really good. There's also some religious nut people and this robotic Groot. And the art is spectacular. I mean, there's a lot of these just incredible landscapes or weird science stuff and mech Groot, and it's great. This is probably the best issue of the series, I'm gonna say, and it sets up what happens next, which I guess I'm getting issue 5. I've been uncertain about the series so far, but this has convinced me at least to buy one more issue, see where it goes. Arcade Kings issue 3. I'm finally getting an Arcade Kings in the week that it came out. So I've really enjoyed issues 1 and 2. I meant to look something up and I didn't do it, and now I don't know the word that I'm going to try to reference. But, alright, there's the normal 3-act structure, and I call it normal because it's most of like the Western Europe sort of storytelling structure, the 3-act structure, and then Asia, I think particularly Japan, although I'm not sure because again I didn't do the research that I intended to do beforehand. They have a 4-act structure, and I will try to put in here the example where I first learned about it, but I think it's really great. So The 4X structure, basically you have two related panels, one seemingly unrelated panel, and then in the fourth panel you've got where the two storylines come together. This feels like that. So we've had 2 issues of one main character. We then jump over to, spoilers maybe, his younger brother for an entire issue to see what he's been up to, and then I assume this is all going to come together next issue. But this is really great. I still enjoy this. It's not, maybe, it is noticeably different than the first 2 issues because there's less fighting, there's less video game, fighting game elements. However, it's still spectacular. This is more, I would say, character-driven. We learn about the brother and what he stands for, what he's been doing, what he wants to do, and it's just really well done. This series is fantastic. I'm loving it. I eagerly await the next issue. So that is everything that I got this week. I feel like I've talked less this week than usual, and I have no idea what pick of the week is going to be. Thinking about it quickly, it's not Battle Chasers. I'm gonna give it to this is really good, and these I'm gonna give it a 3-way tie. Arcade Kings, Guardians of the Galaxy, World's Finest. Look at that diversity. Yeah, all 3 of these are great and recommended. The rest are also good, but I don't. They're very solid. It's just not a very standout week in comics, in my opinion. But this is everything that I got. And if you have any recommendations, I'm going to be looking for new titles to grab off the rack next week. Because again, I think there's only 2 books coming out that are on my pull list. But as always, I get my books from a local comic shop. If you don't know where yours is, you can use this URL to find one closest to you. Thanks for watching.